Tom's got a little pimp in him.
What do you mean?
Because that's what pimps do, man. They mark their ladies. Those are really good clients too. Like, man, pimps are good clients.
Pimps are good clients. That's the name of the episode.
The tattoo needle actually doesn't go past the 4th layer of skin.
How many layers of skin are there?
7.
Huh.
Yeah, so a tattoo that's done correctly sits in between the 3rd and 4th layer of skin.
Huh.
Like the whole reason
I've never heard anything like that before.
Yeah. So the whole reason tattoos work is because our body is trying to get rid of it, but our skin heals too fast for the body to get rid of it. Okay. So essentially what you do is you're creating an injury. You're hurting yourself, but you're putting a pigment in there. So the body starts pushing the pigment out. The body says, hey, there's something in here that shouldn't be here. And so that's why you get the saline buildup. You'll get the little bit of juice. Like a lot of people got the
ink pouch.
Yeah, the ink pouch, reveals and stuff like that. So your body's trying to push it out. And at the same time, your body's hurt. And it's like, hey, let's heal this up.
Right.
Well, the heal cells work faster than the push the foreign body cells out. And so the tattoo ink stays right where it's supposed to be.
Does it change? This is an odd question. I already know it before I ask it. Does somebody that's paralyzed and not have feeling and sort of that stuff, does it affect also the way the skin reacts to the ink? Or is that just a feeling thing and not a...
Yeah, no, it's like I can tell if somebody's vitamin deficient, like their skin does not react the way somebody that has like a healthy diet.
Right.
Their skin, like I could tell if somebody's bulimic or something to where they're robbing themselves of nutrients, you can tell with their skin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So do you recommend to people before they get tattooed that they spend some time eating right or drinking a lot of water or?
I'll just like in the middle of the tattoo, I'll just be like, hey, you're like, you need to take vitamins.
Get a sandwich.
Well,
get a sandwich.
I got a couple of tattoos from Boodro, and he didn't say nothing, so I guess I'm impressed.
Oh yeah, you're a healthy boy, man.
You don't need to go to a doctor now.
Fuck, I'm glad I don't have insurance.
He was a little surprised by how soft the skin was in the part.
But if you go past those 7 layers of skin, you get into the fatty tissue,
right?
And you get what's called a fat flare. And so in the fat, what happens is the fat will slowly absorb that ink and it just spreads. So you get a nice tight line that looks really good, and all of a sudden it becomes this fuzzy piece of shit over about a 5-year period.
Fat flare was my nickname in high school.
Yeah, it's the name I use on my Starbucks. So I'm interested, like from art-wise, does it change? Can you use the different layers and the way they absorb and both naturally to shape the art, or do you always just like you just want to focus on these the 3rd and 4th layer?
No, you usually so I mean the tattooing's all pointillism. So like if you look at like George Seurat, you remember the painting that Ferris Bueller was staring at? Not Ferris Bueller, Cameron.
Yeah.
Cameron was staring at, and it's all the little dots.
Right.
So that's how tattoos work. It's all little dots. So the needle groups, you go all the way from one needle to, I mean, they got Ruslan Abusive in Germany that's like he tattoos people with 150s.
What was his last name?
Ruslan Abusive.
That's his name? Abusive?
Abusive.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet he changed it to that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he does phenomenal work. I want a tattoo by him so bad, but he spends half the year in Germany and half the year in Russia. And so
sounds like a Bond villain.
Dude,
Abusive.
he looks like a Bond villain, man. Like he's a
it's hilarious how that puts a smile on your face.
Yeah,
Like,
it really is, man. He just posted a video where he's tattooing somebody's armpit. And he's doing it with like a 150, and I mean it's huge.
I don't know what
150 needles.
150 needles at once?
Yes.
I guess makes it pretty efficient, right? If you're Like you can really get more done in a short period?
Man, the guy's last name's abusive.
Yeah.
I think there's a little personal pleasure in there,
Yeah.
along with the efficiency.
What do you find is the good combination between efficiency and pain? Like, what's the number of needles?
Oh, my favorite combination right now is a 7-round liner, and depending on the work, I'll usually use like an 11 mag, curved 11 mag, to like 15 curved mag. You know,
Okay.
like that's my cup of tea. That's where I fall in the best. Today on Old Zeth, we're gonna use probably an 11 round or a 14 round liner, and we're gonna be using probably a 13 curve mag.
Yeah. Do you know what any of that means?
Sounds like I'm about to be executed.
Yeah,
Right.
it kinda does.
Yeah, it does.
It's gonna make for a good podcast.
Yeah. It's a lot of technical stuff that really, if you're in the world and you do it,
You know that-
it
you know what
makes
that means.
perfect sense. Yeah.
So one of the reasons we're doing this today is because young Squire Owen over here is interested in getting some tattoos. Owen's a 17-year-old product of Tom's loins, and you've been wanting tattoos for a while now, right?
Yeah, like, I mean, since I really first knew what tattoos were,
Yeah.
I just thought they were super cool. Just everyone who's had them, you know, just looks so awesome to me.
Popeye.
Yeah.
So whenever you say super cool tattoo, who do you view as has really awesome tattoo work?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't really. You talking about like artists or like just people?
People or artists, either or.
Is it athletes and people like that?
Yeah, like athletes and stuff. They have super cool tattoos.
Like-
just like
The
Ron
tattoos
Lacuna-
themselves, or where they are, or how they end up looking on their like.
Yeah, like the tattoos themselves and how they just end up like flowing together and looking like. Ron Lacuna Jr. has just a ton of like tattoos on his arms and stuff.
Yeah.
Who?
Acuna?
Oh, Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I just thought that it looks super cool on anyone who has them. And it's been a goal of mine.
Do you
pretty
think
much.
that is affected by the fact that all of those people are millionaires with $1 million bodies?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
I mean, maybe, yeah.
I
But
got a bunch of tattoos, and I don't think kids are looking at me like that guy's fucking cool.
So I
Well,
can
maybe.
tell you,
I mean-
I can tell you right now, I know a professional athlete that has tattoos that look like absolute garbage. And I think is it Manziel?
Johnny
Manziel?
Manziel.
Is he sleeved? He's sleeved because he had a really hot girlfriend in college,
Yeah.
and like he was one of those guys that ended up going play, and he has garbage tattoos. His tattoos.
What makes
like
them
absolute-
garbage tattoos?
Man, it's
Does he
just,
like them, or does he say they're garbage?
Oh, I'm sure he loves them. But and I mean, believe me, I've done garbage tattoos.
Yeah. Do
so-
you have any garbage tattoos?
Oh, I got so many garbage tattoos, man.
Are you willing to accept your fate with garbage tattoos?
I feel like if I really didn't like it, I didn't like how it looked, I'd probably get it covered up or something like that. But
Yeah, that's a horrible plan going in, man.
Right.
So,
I mean, obviously, I would want to get something that would stick with me for
yeah,
my life, but I wouldn't, you know, if it looked trash because it was, you know, a bad job or whatever, then
yeah. So there you like, and I'm not putting anybody past having a bad day. Everybody can have a bad day, and I've known excellent artists that, you know, hey man, they shouldn't have went to work that day. It's true.
How are you feeling today, Boodro?
Oh, I'm feeling great. I feel good, dude. You know, but the thing is, and I don't put myself in that great artist category. I never will. But portfolio, man. You look at somebody's portfolio. That one, they're going to put the best of the best in that portfolio. So know that up front.
yeah.
So like right now with Instagram and stuff like that, we it's a little bit better than whenever I first started out, because now you have a bigger picture of somebody's work, you know. So get on their Instagram, and so tattoos, unlike a painting, like a painting's viewing area is like 4 foot. Whenever you look at a painting, you're supposed to look at it from 4 foot or more,
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if you get up close on a painting and it looks like shit, it's supposed to look like shit up close. Tattoo's not supposed to look like shit up close.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be really tight. Line work's supposed to be really tight. It's not supposed to look like a heartbeat.
It's supposed to look better the closer you get to it.
Yeah,
and
man.
it should still look good from a distance, but
It
it should
should
look better
still
and
look
better.
good from a distance. Common questions are, in a portfolio, I would always picture like the tattoo freshly done and then the tattoo healed.
Yeah.
Because a tattoo freshly done, man, it looks like $1 million bill. But they may have a bunch of superficial, drag marks on there that really didn't take, and all of a sudden it looks like shit whenever it's healed.
Yeah.
So whenever you're shopping for an artist, do the research. Talk to them. Hey, how long you been tattooing? Which that's kind of arbitrary because there are some tattoo artists, man, that they just take to it, and they'll be like, hey, 2 years, and they're doing phenomenal.
Yeah.
But generally, the longer somebody's been doing something, the better they are at it.
Do they hit a drop-off point? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, this guy's lazy now. He's been doing it 19 years. He's not working on his game.
Man, that is possible. I actually watched a doc where a guy, I'm trying to remember the name of it, but a guy, he went and it was the worst tattoo shop on Etsy. And he went and got a tattoo from the guy. And, you think, because the guy had like 28 years experience, he'd been at that shop forever. It was in California. If you got a California shop, usually you're pretty rock solid. And the guy was the worst rated guy on Etsy. And he was just like, yeah, man, I went through a rough time.
Okay.
I got burnt out for a little while. You're tattooing every day, 12 hours a day, watching the sun come up every day, putting God knows what kind of substances in your body to keep, that pace. And, man, eventually you get tired,
Right.
You get real tired. You get exhaustion moments where, like, I had to turn away 4 people one time just because I could not, 1, get air, and 2, steady my nerves. And it was just physical exhaustion.
Did you think that was going to last? Did you think when you were in that was going to last forever?
Man, it's you don't know.
Yeah.
It's scary.
I've
I've had it where I've sat on stage.
Me too.
I can remember the times like,
it's gone.
this is it. I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And it's the emptiest, like sad, like, oh, is this going to come back?
That's what despair feels like.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's but if you stay committed, you almost kind of step back and you refocus yourself.
Right.
And you improve yourself, which, right now, man, I'm doing stuff that I'm way happier doing than I ever was whenever I was working in a shop, killing it every week, doing great work, quote unquote, every night, until like you were like, right now, I'll revisit some of those times. And like, there's a young lady that came get tattooed at 3 o'clock in the morning. I know she hates my guts.
Right.
Because she's got to look at that tattoo that I did at 3 o'clock in the morning that I should have said no. And I didn't because I needed the money or I wanted the money or whatever, But
Of course.
Yeah.
I guarantee she looks at it every day. And, this is 10 years ago.
Yeah, but she might love that tattoo, and like it to you it's trash, but like,
man, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
So when you're saying looking at artists and the portfolios and all that, one thing you said was fresh stuff looks different than healed stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So when you're looking at photos, you want to find photos of
Both.
some healed stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
I personally would want to see, and a good artist, somebody that like is, because essentially they're selling themselves to you. Like you're a young guy. I would look at, I hate to say this, man, I'd be looking at you as like, man, you're gonna pay my rent for the next 2 years. Because I'm gonna do some rock solid work on you. And you're going to love it. And you're going to tell all your friends about it. And you're going to come back. They're going to come back. You're going to get 7 girlfriends to put your name on their body somewhere,
It's a pretty good fucking read.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, yeah. So like there's those aspects that's going through the artist's mind. So I got to sell myself to you.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing is.
I like that idea. Like instead of you just going and picking, like there's an artist over there, I'm going to go get the tattoo that
For sure.
I like this one. Like you spend the time to invest. This is
Yeah,
gonna be on you
man.
forever. You should spend the
Ever.
time to
That's-
invest and look at see yourself like he's talking about. Like you're an asset to this person as much as you want.
Yeah, they
them to-
need your money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
You
one of
know-
the things I did is when I started going around getting tattoos, I got a few when I was young. I just went in and got some flash tattoos, some stuff that was already pre-drawn, and then just stick it on me. And then I would go hang at the shops, man. And if I didn't feel comfortable there, then I wouldn't get a tattoo. And if I did feel comfortable there, then who did I feel the most comfortable with? Did I have a good relationship? And I regret none of those tattoos.
Yeah.
Some of the tattoos I regret the most were the ones I just got that were stock, that didn't really mean anything to me. And then the tattoo I have where I got it because I wanted a tattoo, and the guy that gave it to me, I had no connection to him. He was a fine person, but he was just making some money that day, and that was fine. But the people I had some real connections with, those tattoos I really love.
Yeah. And go ahead.
I mean, that makes total sense. I don't really know what, like,
Yeah.
that. I don't know if that's even like a thing anymore because, a lot of tattoo artists are just kind of hanging out on Instagram and just kind of, posting their work on there. And
Have
I
you
feel
been to
like
any
it'd
of the
be-
shops locally?
I've been to a couple shops in Fayetteville actually.
There's some really good ones here in town, man. Downtown, within a 10-minute walk, you can just kind of walk in and out and just pop in and start hanging out. See if you
Spirals
enjoy
are
them.
pretty-
You know what kind
Golden
of
spirals
kind of
are
hit? Not I don't know if bugs me is the right word, but sort of rubs me weird is when you say the reason you want a tattoo is because there's some really cool people on that you've seen that are famous.
Well,
that
I just
they're-
think I just think tattoos in general just look really cool, and that's why I got into them. Not necessarily why I want
I
one.
don't know. There's something about that makes me be like, why do you need to look cool? You really that you're cool already. So like a tattoo is not going to make you cool. Or
Are you
maybe it
wanting
does.
something that, or is
Maybe
it
it
like,
does.
I want something that just is whatever, or is it like you want something that
No,
means something?
I want to get two. I want to get one for him and then one for my mom. So
Oh,
it's
how
like
can you say no to that? Tom?
That's what I'm talking about. Like,
Come on, Tom.
I was like, dude, you're not getting a tattoo.
Come
Have
on,
you
Tom.
thought about what you're gonna get? And he was like, yeah, I want to use this as like a picture from my album title and then a thing from his mom. And I'm
Whoa.
like, okay, I think
Yeah.
you're just like one. Yeah, what can you say about that? Like,
Yeah.
I got this dude we used to play baseball with, and his twins were on Owen's team, and he was like, he got a call from his wife that was like, their older son, I don't remember his name. Let's just say Scott. Scott went. He's not around. He went to go get a tattoo. He calls him. He's leaving messages. What are you? You don't even have any money. What are you doing? You're wasting money on another tattoo. Why do you need another? And then he finally gets in touch with him, and the son's like, he's like, I don't even want to ask what it is. Wasting your money. He's like, well, it says family, and it's got like all of our birthdays and everything on it, like
Yeah.
both the brothers and the mom. And then he's like, okay, I can't be mad at that tattoo.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You got
I mean,
another
So
one
Owen just kind of pulled that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
he pulled the guilt card.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want a tattoo that covers my whole arm that is in remembrance of you, Dad.
Yeah, you got the
Okay.
rest in peace Meemaw one. You can get mad at
Yeah,
that. Meemaw.
But I mean, ultimately, man, it's self-expression. I mean, just like those athletes, like, and I mean, I've tattooed people that, their tattoos don't mean shit. I got a buddy of mine. It's like, man, why do you have that? And he's like, because it looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
Oh,
that
yeah.
joke you had? You said there was a comic who had a joke that explained his tattoo.
Oh yeah, Greg Barnes from Atlanta. He was like, yeah, I got a tattoo. It every time I look at him, it reminds me of the time I had $100. and he is, man. He's covered in like $100 tattoos, man. It's so funny because it's so true. But I mean, the thing is, I mean, that's him.
What
You
makes
know?
it addictive? Like I've heard that before. Like you said, like you're looking at him as a future customer because you just get one and then you're like, this will look cool with it, and this will eventually I want to be tatted my whole.
There's
What
a-
makes it be like you want more after you have one?
I mean, I'm sure Boodro would speak more to it, but in my opinion, for me, the reason I dig him, man, is, I like to remember each tattoo I have is a timestamp on where I was when I got that tattoo. Regardless of what that tattoo is, when I got it, I can look at those tattoos and remember where I was in my life at that point. And those mile markers are kind of important to me. The other thing is there's a real stiff release with that pain and that adrenaline and those endorphins that come. And, I'm a little bit of a junkie for those things. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Eric nailed it, man. Me personally, a lot of my stuff is a moment in time. That's like I don't really touch up my tattoos, just because I do look at it as like if they look old and they look fucked up. I mean,
Right.
I've been a welder since, I don't know, man, I mean, for as long as I can remember, I've been welding. So a lot of my tattoos are burnt and shit like that and all. And I mean, I could touch them up, but like, I don't know, man. It's a moment in time, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes
And-
an old and fucked up thing is old and fucked up because it's old and fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I'm old and fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but the other part of it is that dopamine, man. I think some of it too is like a little bit of, you got to like kind of submit. You got to like let control go, especially if like you're a control freak and you all, man, your quote unquote life, you know, your skin is in somebody else's hands and you can't do shit about it. Some people test their limits. There's Brutal Black Project where people just like, they are legit from head to toe covering their body in black ink. And what it is they get into
Except the face, I hope.
Oh no, they'll do face.
So they
too,
do
man.
blackface?
Yeah,
But like with permanent.
permanent. You know, but I mean, it's called Brutal Black Project. You can look it up, and I mean, they'll tattoo until they start to go into like a hallucinogenic state. You know, because so many chemicals are being released in their
I
body.
saw somebody
naturally.
getting tattooed by 5 or 6 people at the same time.
Oh yeah, it's crazy, man.
Owen, would you be cool with doing that brutal? No, I'm just saying. Fuck it. Fuck your father. Let's just go right into it.
go ahead.
I would, as a dad, I'll get to your question, right? But I want to say, as a dad, what I would want for you is to listen to what, like some of the stuff you're saying, and to have that you've spent some time on actual research into who's tattooing you and what you're getting, and you. I know you're a thoughtful kid already, but you're also a kid that thinks you know everything. You don't.
Well, that was
You know?
that leads into the question I was going to ask, really. And,
Go ahead.
You know, so I'm more than willing to take you downtown and go introduce you to some cool people. And so here's my advice before I get to the question would be, there's an opportunity for you to be disappointed if you hurry, and if you take your time, you will not be disappointed with that. You'll be anxious to get it over with, but taking that time, you will never look back on it. I wish I'd have done it sooner.
Yeah.
I think the time is good. So take your time, and when you're ready, you'll know you're ready. But don't go before you think you're ready. This is one of those times. If you were gonna like do a performative thing, comedy, I'd be like, fucking do it now. But with this, it's like take some time.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, you know, I got some tattoos when I started tattooing myself when I was like 13 years old. You know what I mean? And I regretted some of those, but I'm like Boodro. I don't really get rid of stuff. If it's old and fucked up, it's old and fucked up.
Yeah.
How do you think? Let's say you got something that just means something different to you down the line, or are you willing to have a bad tattoo when you're 28 years old? Because there's really no way to really even conceptually put yourself in that headspace of being 28.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
10 years down the line. Are you good with having something that you disagree with or don't feel the same with now?
I mean,
There's no way to answer that. Is there?
I know.
yeah.
But that you know, of course, there isn't a way to answer that.
Go ahead.
And that's
sorry.
kind of the answer, I think. You know.
I mean, I'm a pretty carefree person, honestly, but I feel like if there's something like permanently on my body that I used to enjoy and that I don't enjoy anymore, then, you know, maybe looking at it will bring me back a little bit and be like, hey, I used to like this stuff and this is what this is for.
It's
Yeah.
you. It's
Yeah,
still you.
it's still me, but or maybe it's a remembrance of me in the past type thing. But I feel like that's
I
the
feel like
only way.
I felt like before you answered that, I felt like your general feeling was, well, I'll just get it covered and change to something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say that option is probably off your table.
Why?
You don't want to go into getting something permanent with the idea that it's not permanent.
Yeah.
It's
Man,
permanent.
yeah.
You know
And
how many
cover-ups are difficult.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
sorry to cut you off
No.
there, but you know how many girlfriends' names I've done or husbands' names, wives' names, and right before we start, it's like, well, if we end up breaking up, I'll just get it covered. And I'm like, that is a horrible.
Yes.
You know, horrible.
That was the
plan.
first tattoo I ever gave myself. Was
And their
a
name's,
girl's
like,
name.
really
I was
long.
13 years old.
I remember. What'd you say,
I
Seth?
said their name's really long, like Stephanie
Yes.
or something. That's a long one, you know?
Kostaki Konomopoulos.
You got Kostaki's name on you?
No, it's just the most long name I could think of at the time.
Well,
'Cause when Owen was born, Serena told me she wanted to get a tattoo, maybe of Owen's name on her foot or her ankle or something. And I was like, oh, that's cool, but you have no tattoos. I've known you forever. There's no Tom tattoos on you anywhere. She's just like, yeah, but this is permanent.
Tell her to get a dumbest
He's our
guy
son.
tattoo.
This is permanent.
Tom's got a little pimp in him.
What do you mean?
Because that's what pimps do, man. They mark their ladies. Those are really good clients too. Like, man, pimps are good clients.
Pimps are good clients. That's the name of the episode. Tom,
Pimps are good
you're
to
not
me.
a tattoo guy, right?
I don't have any tattoos.
Have you ever thought about it?
Yeah, I think I was
more-
similar to him. It looks cool. Like it would look. Those guys look cool. You know what I mean? They just,
You would look cool with a
you know.
tattoo.
Do you have any other children besides Owen?
No.
So
Not
why
that
don't
I
you-
know. Hey,
So
boom.
why don't y'all have a memory made forever share time? You get Owen, he gets his mom and dad tattoo.
Or you just do something that reminds of the name, you know, like some kind of. I think about that with my kids. We're all gonna get matching tattoos.
Man, you'll look back
Not
at
matching,
that
but-
forever, man. Because
Yeah, but you don't need
he's
that.
17, so he's like 2 years away from not talking to you for like 10 years.
That is true.
You know,
true.
and
I'm gonna keep booking him on the podcast. Just so
just so you force him to talk.
yeah.
But man, there you go, man. That's a memory. That is a memory forever, Tom.
That's true. That's true.
Mm.
I did have
That's
a
the
think
closest
yesterday
I've
where
seen you to
Yeah.
thinking about a tattoo.
I actually thought yesterday, like it sounds goofy, but it's like a you know, like a baseball laces, like this.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just like here or something that just reminds me of him and him.
Yeah,
being
there
a
you
kid,
go.
You know.
Yeah. I would suggest not getting it
Don't get a Yeah, it looks like
completely
Frankenstein.
visible.
Huh?
I would say don't get it in a super visible spot as your first tattoo in a very visible spot is
That's a mistake.
I don't know if it's a mistake. I mean, that's your decision to make. My advice would be, I would say if you've never had a tattoo, going in a place that's less visible, especially as somebody who's a performer, an actor, and stands on stage all the time, having something that's less visible is, not the worst idea.
Okay.
And plus, if it's visible, you got to be prepared to talk to people about
All the
it.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate talking to people.
You hate talking to.
Well, it's that thing.
That's
It's
a good
like,
thing you got a podcast. You guys tune into the mic and the machine.
I like talking to
Yeah.
people.
well, no, I used to hang out with a bunch of roller derby girls, and everywhere we would go, people.
There's
would
some
be like,
tattoos in
what
that
does
group."
that mean? What does that mean? And they would just reach out and touch you, like, what does that mean? And it's like, fucking, that's obnoxious. And I see my friends who have tattoos all the time constantly get asked what the thing means, and that's why that joke. Oh, that tattoo means I had $100. Like, I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, because that's the joke that gets you out of that conversation, right?
Yeah, but
There's-
why do I need to get out of this
And
conversation?
if you get one hidden, the only people that are going to see it are people that see you naked. And if they're seeing you naked, you're already comfortable, so you want to talk to them.
Well, it's just, and it doesn't need to be a tattoo that's only visible when you're naked, but one that you decide to show, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, unless you got
you
like.
don't have a ton of visible tattoos on.
No, I mean, and I'll wear a lot of hoodies, you know.
Yeah.
But
So do the pimps want their girls tattooed in a visible spot for everybody, or something
I knew
private?
that
Like-
wouldn't be the
depends,
end of
man.
that.
yeah.
it depends. Like,
it varies pimp to pimp.
yeah, and like so sometimes you'll get to where they say they want it here, like the pimp decides where it goes, and then sometimes he lets the girls choose.
That's crazy.
Girls
is
pay
crazy.
for their own tattoos.
Oh, he doesn't
too.
at least pay 20% of the
Nope.
tattoo?
Girls pay for the tattoo.
Okay. He should have to chip in the same way they have to.
Well, next
chip
time
out.
we get a pimp in, we're gonna bring you in to have this conversation.
I like that.
Yeah, I know
I
you
like
would.
that. He can't really.
I know you would.
Can we
Book
get
him on the podcast.
Can,
Yeah,
we,
that's
can we get a pimp?
I don't know.
Oh man, you just gotta ask. I guarantee
You do just gotta ask.
yeah, dude, pimps are the coolest people, man.
Yeah, I
mean,
imagine.
like, I don't know about the whole violence towards women thing.
That
I don't
part-
know if they're all violent though. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I'm kind of lumping everybody into
Yeah, so
a
it's a
bucket.
broad stroke
Yeah,
generalization.
I'm sure there's some really nice.
Not
pimps.
all pimps. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some really nice pimps that treat their hoes with equal vote and stuff in the house.
Yeah.
But like really and truly, man, you're talking like a lot like comics, man. Just super open people, willing to
Right.
talk about anything. A lot of them, had a lot of life kick them in the ass and stuff like that and all. But like a lot of my drug dealers, man, that I would tattoo and stuff like that. Super loyal people, very open, very honest. Would ask me to not say certain things about certain things,
Right. Oh, that'd be a funny, like taxi cab confessions, tattoo confessions.
Yeah, well, I mean that's kind of like the
Inadmissible.
it's a little sight in, but I doubt if you're gonna have somebody like confess to illegal activity. Like maybe there's been a couple weapons hidden in my shop at different times.
Yeah, it's probably not smart.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
know what? Whenever you got like a drug dealer paying your bills, you just
Right.
stay hush hush for
Yeah.
a second.
Mum's
Yeah.
a word.
Yeah, man.
This is
yeah.
all very interesting. to me.
Yeah, it's probably not smart to admit to illegal activity on a podcast.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
exactly.
What about in my rap song? I haven't.
That's creative freedom.
Yeah.
It's like I go on stage
I
and I'm
think some
like,
of those guys, that's been-
know,
they've been used against them. I think some of that.
I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah, if they actually perform the murder that they're singing
Oh
about,
yeah.
they get them. That's
Yeah.
basically just
That's
a
how they.
confession.
yeah.
That should. Yeah. They should.
Well, you deserve it at that point.
Yeah. There should just be a song. I plead the fifth. And then he just asks himself the question: did you shoot? Like he describes the crime as questions being asked to him, and then the chorus
hook?
is I plead the fifth. The hook is I plead the fifth.
You've been holding on to that one for a
No,
while.
I just thought you think no, if I'd been holding on to it, I would have discarded it. Once it came out of my mouth, I realized how dumb it sounds. I want Owen to ask you. I want to hear your thought process about tattoos.
Well, before we get to his thought process on tattoos, we lead into that. But
I want to focus that too.
what's your feelings on Owen getting a tattoo? Have they changed in the last 20 minutes at all?
I've leaned toward he does whatever he does whatever he wants. This is his thing. I don't really. You have almost got me talked into having one. You know what I mean? So I don't really have a problem with him at all.
Yeah, that's because
You know
I
what
need
I'm
to
saying?
make money, Tom.
Oh, wait. I thought you were hooking us up. I didn't realize.
Man, you thought this was my first time making a sale to a son?
What's the talk him out of it pitch?
Is there
Like,
a
honestly-
spot where you talk somebody out of tattoos?
Yeah, I've done a few. Like I'm just not gonna do that. You may get it, but you're not getting it here.
Gotcha.
And because I mean, ultimately, I still have to sleep at night.
And you're already struggling with that 3 o'clock in the morning girl.
Yeah, man,
Brought that one
you
back.
got me
Yeah.
there, bro. Yeah, and I mean, man, you just sometimes
sorry.
the light's got to get paid,
Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately, you see somebody like young Owen here, if he were to walk in and like his favorite athlete, has rock star written across his forehead or something like that, the Little Wayne cross,
Yeah.
whenever that was super popular, I would get these young kids in, man, they're 18 years old. They want to put a cross in the middle of their forehead.
Yeah. No face, neck, or anything like that.
Yeah.
till-
Yeah,
till you
and
got
I-
10.
I 100% believe everybody should, like you say, he's about to be a man. He can do whatever he wants. But ultimately, there's a social status associated with your face being tattooed. I think the weather's getting us.
That's
Could
kind
be
of a
the
cool
hood.
feature.
Yeah, but face tattoos usually mean unemployed, or face tattoos usually mean
That's not a good customer to get.
yeah.
on.
I mean, or face tattoos mean I'm a professional working tattoo artist. Like I 100% several times considered getting my face done, and I'm so glad I didn't.
I can say that within my lifetime, face tattoos were like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing to?
Yeah.
That one looks kind of like somehow I'm used to it more now.
Yeah.
That's all tattoos, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know,
think
because
so.
when we were younger, almost nobody had them, and now almost everybody does.
Almost not visible at all. It would always be
Yeah.
maybe to here, so that the most you'd see is like a little flick, you know, like so they could still be professional. They'd stop like at the neck,
Yeah.
it's like a T-shirt.
Yeah, because I mean, I want my throat done.
I'll do it for you.
All right, cool. You know, and like the thing is, you know, as a working artist, you'll run into tattoo artists that if you're not completely covered, they're kind of like, you know, well, aren't you bought in? You know, like this is a career choice for me. Look, I've covered my face and everything else and all, and like I can see that, you know, as one perspective, but ultimately it's my body still, you know, and I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm really glad I didn't get my face done. You know,
Right.
like looking back now, I would have been some asshole, you know, that didn't get the job he wanted to get because like my shop failed. You know, it was in an area where there was a lot of things that happened, natural disasters, you know, circumstantial stuff with oil rigs and everything. South Louisiana's rough. And, you know, so my shop failed. And the job I got next, you know, it wasn't another shop. I took a break. I was burnt, man. You know, so I went and get a regular job, and I wouldn't have got that regular job having my face done. I'd have been in some barge, you know, in South Louisiana, sweating my ass off, welding,
Right.
you know, for 12 hours a day.
Because you get to wear the mask and they can't see the face.
Man, it's I'm not a very big person, so I can fit in little holes.
Oh,
And so you get into the tight areas. You ever been in a double bottom of a barge? It's rough.
You're the ball turret guy.
I haven't,
Yeah.
but I have worked on ships where they put me down in like the
Yeah,
crew area. That's what I want to get.
yeah.
Same thing.
On cruise ships, by the way.
Yeah.
Luxury
thing.
cruise ships. You're not,
Luxury
you're not down shoveling coal.
I've done sets in boiler
You're
rooms.
in a silk robe eating shrimp. You know what I mean? This fucking guy. Oh, I got a shuffleboard appointment at 2:30.
That would be great if Tom just walked around all covered in coal. And they're like, "What you doing?" It's like, I'm keeping this thing going.
Right. You see my name tag?
I keep this thing going and I keep it funny.
That's right.
Owen, do you have? How many times do you have friends who have tattoos? And have you, because you've wanted tattoos, how have you been able to ever talk to a tattoo artist? And if not, what are the questions?
I have not been able to talk to a tattoo artist, but I do have a couple friends that have tattoos. There's a bunch of people that are in my classes in school that have tattoos and stuff because, you know, we're senior year, everybody's turning 18. They're just, you know, they just go out and do whatever they want pretty much. But,
Has any of your friends gotten one and been like, oopsie daisy?
No way, not that quickly.
Nah.
You never know.
No.
It's a decent question.
Yeah.
That is a good question. I'm just saying. I'm answering my guess.
Yeah. I mean, I got a tattoo one time and I was like, ooh.
Immediately?
Yeah, pretty quickly.
Is that a sobering up thing or just the...
No, I was completely sober when I got it. The next day I was just like.
Then
hey,
you got high
wait a
and you're
minute,
like, oh.
Okay.
What's that?
Then you got high and you're like, oh.
I got stoned and I was like, that was a mistake. Yeah, you know, but
Stoned you is correcting.
yeah.
Post ink clarity.
I read an article recently about I don't know why I saw it, but it was, and then I googled it yesterday about ink potentially causing an increase in cancer.
Oh
Ink
yeah,
and-
there's theories that go back and forth whenever people get removals done.
Right.
The laser kind of explodes the ink into your fat cells, and then your bloodstream absorbs it. They found where tattoo ink is like attaching itself to your glands and stuff like that.
Yes.
I don't know, man. I use Kurosumi lining inks. I don't even know how long that company's been open. It's like forever. That's the
Right.
way I look at it. Way longer than me. And all the color inks I use are all vegan. Sterile vegan inks. Eternal inks.
Is that something
Shout
you had?
out-
Is that something you had to switch to, or they just the one you used ended up happening to be vegan?
Man, I didn't take a normal tattoo route. I didn't apprentice. I was a skin scratcher. You'll hear that term, skin scratcher, for a long time. where I did a bunch of shitty tattoos on a bunch of my friends, and eventually one day fixed them all to make them look good.
Except for yours.
Well, I'm working on it.
Okay.
A mechanic's cars never worked on it. But it, like, I've used so many different inks, man, and like I'll use Spectrum Blue sometimes. Like, that's another ink company. I'll use their Spectrum Blues. Solid ink I'll use every now and again. But Eternal's the good, like, for me, best all around. But yeah, all vegan inks, you know, and that's kind of a trend that's happened. I don't know. I would guess say probably the beginning of 2000, you know,
Right.
Where they realized that organic material was tending to like cause reactions and stuff like that and all. And so they started to switch into a more refined process to where like now, whenever you're getting sterile inks, it's not just some dude printed it on a printer, you know, like, I mean, it's legit a sterile ink.
I can't go to like Office Depot and get like
you
printer
man.
ink and put it in the thing.
You can, like,
No.
they got eBay inks, man, and like, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, and put it to you this way: if your tattoo artist ink set doesn't cost like $1,200 plus, walk out.
So that's another thing to look for is what inks are they using, and then do the research on their inks, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, you have several different really good brands.
Have you done this about your tattoo, by the way, or are you just taking Boodro's word for it?
What is that?
The ink. Have you done any research into like inks or needles?
No,
or...
not really. As long as it's not like a Bic pen, I'm fine.
We've vetted the tattoo artist.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. That's
Yeah, and I've seen him do work already, and it was like, you know, that's what.
So, and as you said something earlier about the layers of skin where it's going. Now, I have a weird fact in my head about like how the body sheds all the skin, and like every 7 years you're a different person. Like that's not true, because you still have the same skin then would be the inked skin.
Yeah.
So so at a certain level you don't shed all your skin.
So tattoos deteriorate over time.
And that's probably why.
So a good tattoo, like a well done tattoo, should hold together for about 20 years. Then after 20 years, what you'll have is you'll start to have deterioration where your lines start to get wider. You know, maybe your color starts to fade and stuff like that. Again, sun exposure, things of those nature.
So what makes, so the skin isn't shedding that drastically. It's just, it's not all your skin is shed after 7 years.
I think it's like your palms of your hands. Like, I mean, like I got a palm tattoo, and man, it like, I just do so much with my hands. It's really hard to even get it to heal right, which now I'm going to cover it. But I mean, like, there's a reason you don't tattoo your fingerprints, because those skin cells are constantly wearing away. Those tattoos disappear. Bottom of the feet tattoos disappear.
Does your fingerprint change over time then?
No, it doesn't change, but you're constantly losing skin cells in those areas.
Okay.
You know, but your fingerprints remain the same. But whenever you think about like soft skin, like that baby skin under your arm, you know, man, those cells aren't going anywhere for a long time, you know? So like tattoos under the arms, man, actually like look really good for a really long time.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's pretty cool.
That's interesting as hell, really.
Yeah. So do you have any questions? Is there anything in general that you're interested in tattoo-wise? Are you all the way in 100%? You're like, I'm fucking getting tattoos?
I mean, I really want to.
Yeah.
Your plan would be, if you had money, to come back from school for how many tattoos?
I mean, I wouldn't like put a number on it. It just depends on what kind of stuff happens in my life. I'm not just going to get a tattoo for no reason.
Yeah.
I was going to think, I did think of something, but I forgot it. So
I feel like you're already ahead of the curve anyway, knowing that you want something that means something to you. Because when I was your age, I wanted stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And then I got a little older, and then I was like, oh, I want something that means something to me. And then I got my first tattoo like 2 years ago. And I, you know,
What was
love
the
it.
stupid
Makes
stuff
sense.
you wanted that you didn't get?
Oh, I don't remember, like something with a gorilla or something.
Yeah, but I just heard you talk about wanting something.
Yeah, you
I
want
know,
a tattoo with
I
a
know.
gorilla.
It's still there a little bit, and I talked myself out of it again, because it would just look like, I feel like for me, it would just look like a big blob,
Gotcha.
because gorillas are black, and I don't want it to be super realistic. I want it to be kind of cartoony, and I feel like it would just look kind of blobby or whatever. So,
And so,
What are you getting now?
There you go.
Like we're getting ready to watch you get tattooed.
yeah, you'll see.
Oh, you don't want to say?
You'll see it, and I want to talk about it when we're doing it. You know?
Oh, okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. So
That's why we watch his podcast.
So then,
Yeah.
so that's what you do. You bring them in. You talk about why they're doing, what they're getting, what they're getting. And
Yeah,
then
let's talk about the podcast.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a concept that I had a couple years ago. Like whenever I was watching the tattoo shows and stuff like that, which all the tattoo shows now I can't stand.
Ink Master.
Yeah, because it's all just a bunch of
They're
drama.
written and it's a little bit fabricated.
Yeah.
You know, it's reality television.
create conflict between a couple things. And
Yeah, it's like,
it-
oh boy, are we gonna have enough time to finish this tattoo? And
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
like, yeah, they got enough time because there is
Yeah,
no
it's a
time
fucking
limit.
tattoo, man.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that I looked at, the older shows, and what I always found interesting was finding out why that person was getting what they were getting, a little bit about themselves, and then sitting in the chair for 23 plus years now. I've heard so many different things, man. People just open up to you. And, sometimes it's been really sad. Sometimes it's been really happy. Sometimes it's just been conversation to make the time go by. But whenever you think about comedy and stuff like that and all, everybody says getting on stage is like the hardest thing, and then you tell them, oh, well, I tattoo. And they're like, God, that's got to be the hardest thing,
Yeah.
And, so like the concept of the show was to really kind of get behind that scene, the mic and the machine, somebody underneath that needle, being vulnerable, opening up, and then, somebody that's a creative performer. It doesn't necessarily have to be comic, but just some kind of creative personality that does some kind of performance art, poets, actors, musicians. I got a few musicians I'm
Pimps.
getting ready to do. Pimps, but like finding out what makes them tick. Some of the shows have kind of gone a direction I didn't expect them to go.
That's how the show goes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like some of the stuff has been serious. Some of the stuff has been, funny, and I don't know exactly where the show goes. I have these gentlemen helping me out,
I do know.
yeah, to maybe, build something and give people a little bit of a perspective into, somebody's life that they might not normally be exposed to, and then, like a lot of shops now, like tattoo shops now, the last tattoo shop I was in, I was watching the person get tattooed, and the artist, there's like a wall in front of me, and I'm just kind of standing up looking at the person getting tattooed. And the artist that was on the other side of that wall stands up and goes, if you don't get out of my space, I'm going to kick you out.
Really?
And I was like, all right. And I just sat down, but like, I don't get that mindset,
So you don't have that. There's somebody over my shoulder watching me.
Nah, I don't, man,
Okay.
I just, whenever I would have, like, I would usually allow somebody to bring one person back with them. But then every now and again, you got like a family member coming in, they're getting like an RIP or something like that. And like people want to be a part of that,
They want to share that experience.
They want to share it,
yeah.
And so I would never be just so full of myself that I would kick people out for being in my space. Now, if you're closer to the tattoo than I am, yeah, I'm going to set all of my stuff down and I'm going to turn. I'm going to be back. I'm just going to say a simple statement of I'll return when I can work.
Okay.
But I don't need to be rude. I don't need to be an asshole about it. But like, I think the show's interesting because it definitely gives people like that voyeuristic view
Yeah.
of an experience that normally, like yourself, you don't have a tattoo, but
I've never watched anybody get one. I'm excited to watch it. Me and
Yeah.
Owen are going to watch. We won't be over your shoulder or in between. We're just going to watch and then.
yeah, but
Yeah,
I think those things are appealing,
Mhm.
and then somebody that's like, a perspective wants to get something like, man, he could see a little bit of blood and be like, well, I need to get it somewhere where I can't see, because like I'm queasy,
It is interesting
I like the way he said queasy. Like Mitch Hedberg.
is the accent, which was
Cajun.
funny
I like
because so we did. He gave me a tattoo at the comedy festival, And that was one of the first things I said is I love that they got the two people with the weirdest accents to do the show with talking over machines, you know.
Yeah, talking over machines. Nobody can understand a damn
But
thing.
so we had we did, you know, I got asked to do that, and then so a lot of the best conversations I've ever had. I've had a lot of fantastic conversations. A lot of the best conversations I've ever had have been while I was getting tattooed. You know,
Right.
There's a level of intimacy because it's like he said earlier, you are trusting this person with your body. You know, and so there has to be some intimacy there, and so you just end up in deeper conversation. I end up in deeper conversations than I would normally. You know?
Yeah, it's weird because I think that like a barber that would happen or whatever.
Yeah.
This is even more intimate than
Yeah,
that.
well, you know, a barber is going to fuck my head up for 2 months.
Yeah, of course. yeah. You don't get a tattoo and be like, it'll look good in a week.
Yeah, I wouldn't get a tattoo at a sports clip.
Yeah.
That's what I do, baby.
yeah. I get a tattoo there, but I won't give my phone number. So when
Tattoo my fake phone number that I gave you. on my arm.
So we did that at the festival, and then the more I looked into Boodro's stuff, I was just like, that's such a fucking fascinating concept and idea. And he's been doing it on his own for a while, and I was like, well, you know, one of the things I realized is it's easier when you got a little bit of a team. So I figured we'll let the artist come in and do art stuff, and let us do all the other stuff. He shouldn't have to, you know. If we let you edit this podcast, it'd be it would never get done, right? And so
Yes.
let the smart funny guy do smart funny stuff, and let the smart funny creative guy do smart funny creative stuff. You know?
That's a good idea. I like what you're doing with this studio. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, this
We
is
got podcasts
so
going
awesome.
from every angle. It's great.
Yeah, I do, and I think this is a good addition to it. You know what I mean?
When do the Mike and the Machine and the dumbest guy in the room get their own coffee mugs like
Oh,
that?
you can buy these on my website. These coffee mugs are only $4.99.
Yeah.
The great thing is we can send them in an envelope. So we'll get your coffee mugs. They're in the shop. We got people working on them.
Okay, good.
Sweet.
So we're second tier on the coffee mug, but we're
we're just
working our
behind
way
on
up. You know what I'm
logos.
saying?
Yeah. We just got to get the logos done. You know, there's a lot of working parts over here, Tom. And you're not quite to coffee mug status.
Could you? How long would it take you to tattoo a to-do list on his forearm?
It's a different coffee mug.
Oh.
That just reminded me. That was another tattoo I wanted when I was probably Owen's age. I wanted a to-do list on my thigh, so when I sat down to take a shit, I would see it in the morning and then I'd write on it.
What would, so it was a blank to do list.
Yeah, and I would write on it.
That's not a
Like
horrible
a
idea.
Mad Libs to-do list?
Yeah,
That's great.
and I would fill it in every morning while taking the
That's
shit.
funny.
so you're gonna walk around the store with your pants down.
No, just whenever I
He wears those
whenever I
shorts.
go again later, I go
That's
two,
a good
3 times a
idea
day.
I think that's a good idea. Like that literally has me going, that'd be cool to have, because the mind, like I write in journals and stuff like that all the time, is to remind myself, get up, meditate, read, write, exercise.
I have a couple tattoos that I did in my own handwriting that were just reminders of things. But that is like the worst version of that Memento movie I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like, instead of remembering all the things that happened, I got to get bread.
Like every time he wakes up, he takes a shit and he's like, oh.
Laundry.
Yeah.
I do know somebody that had a to-do list on their arm thinking about it. He had a to-do list and it said kick ass and take names. And he had take names scratched out. And that was a good one. But yeah, it wasn't the quality of that Seth's talking about. You know?
Yeah, what's the best sort of comedic,
What's
like,
the funniest
the
tattoo?
funniest tattoo that you put on somebody?
Oh, man.
Is there anything that made you giggle that you can think of right off the bat? The questions like this are difficult because it puts you on the spot.
So a buddy of mine, Philip, in South Louisiana, you know the Newman's,
Newman's own?
yeah, Newman's own
Newman. I'm thinking of Newman.
Shakaroonie,
Okay, yeah.
the shrooms and the whole shebang.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the tagline. The shrooms and the whole shebang. And so I did the Newman's label on it. I think it's on his arm. It might be on his leg. I can't exactly remember, but it has his face on
Okay.
Paul Newman's head.
Yeah.
And because it's Paul Newman's hair, it's not even his hair. It's Paul Newman's hair. It's just his face on Paul Newman's head, and it's the Shakaroonie and
That's
it's the
fun.
shrooms and the whole shebang. And he's like, his thing was like, it says shroom.
Yeah.
He also has a kitten shredding an electric guitar.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. That's a
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah, you know, so he He usually got the real funny tattoos. He was just a funny tattoo person.
Would you go funny? Would you go? So you don't even know.
I think I would. I mean, I'd probably get like I don't know. If I got really comfortable with it and I just had a shit ton of tattoos, then I'd eventually start getting just funny
then
stuff.
once you have enough of them, I would say avoid the funny, ironic ones until you have a few.
Yeah.
Because your sense of humor is going to be the first thing to change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, that bit I used to do with my roommate in college.
Yeah.
Sussy bucka.
I'm surprised Seth's not getting a fart tattoo on his back.
Oh, those will
crazy.
forever be funny.
He's never going to think
Yeah,
about
that'll never change.
So here's an interesting thing since we started doing this here is the pain that I've seen people in getting tattoos, and because I don't know, that's why I'm here. You know what I mean? I want that. So when we did the thing at the festival, we did an hour and we fucking killed. It was great.
It was awesome.
Had a great time. It was the best show I had all week. And, but then, in my head, I was just like, oh, that's how tattoos are. Tattoos they hurt and you have fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when I see other people get tattoos and they're just like in a lot of pain, how are you with pain, man? Because
I'm pretty good with pain.
it's a difficult thing to explain to somebody.
Yeah,
And I've seen wide ranges of people getting tattoos. I've seen people who fucking really enjoy it. And then I've seen people who are just like, can't wait for it to be over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see.
Yeah, Dad knows I'm pretty good with pain.
When I'm beating.
Everybody says that. When you're punching him,
like I can't believe you can take this.
I'm giving this all I
I got
got.
this Kimura locked in and he's not down.
Is this pencil sharp? You know what I mean? Nobody ever uses lead. Nobody ever colors in pencil on their arms. But like injury wise and stuff like playing with pain and like he's had knee pain his whole like that kind of pain that he's good with, But I don't you can just tell he's burning himself in the damn shower. You know what I mean? Like what are you doing in there? You know what I mean? Like it's just that kind of stuff. But other than that, I don't know if that's the same. Being able to put up with injuries and as an athlete playing through
sensation.
it, or if this is a different level of pain to be like constantly pinching you or whatever. Like
how often do people tap out? Need a break, or because I've had some where I had to get up and take a break.
Yeah, I mean, I generally I try to be courteous.
Yeah.
Because I smoked for 17 years. I don't smoke anymore, and so there is no cigarette break.
Right.
I'm not taking a cigarette break anymore, and so I'll just sit down until I guarantee you'll wear out before I do,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I wonder, are there people who are just like, hey,
I'll
I
usually,
know we're not done.
Yeah, I'll usually start the process with hey, if you need to stop for any reason, just say the word. And then there'll be people that they feel like they're being rude by saying, hey, I need a minute. You know, and it's like, no, if you need a minute, you need a minute. If it feels like somebody's about to pass out, you can usually feel it through the gloves.
Yeah.
You'll feel a difference in the body temperature.
Really?
Their facial expression will change a little bit.
How often does that happen?
It's rarer than you think, man. It's not like it's happening all the time, and usually people, if anybody kind of does start to feel weak, they'll be like, hey, I just need a minute.
Yeah.
Don't stand up. I had a kid got weak one time, stood up, face first on the concrete, lost all 4 of his front teeth.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. And
how much did that tattoo cost you?
it was free.
How has anyone had an unfinished tattoo with you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tried to get her back on the table for probably 3 hours. She came in for a star on her ankle it's less than a dime.
She left with a W.
No. So the lady that came with her talked her into getting a dove. Not a dove, a sparrow. Like a little old school sparrow.
Yeah.
And small, man, just a line. And instead of a sparrow, so I made the wrap of the head, because essentially that's an old school drawing, so it's got an old school drawing technique. I made the wrap of the head and the curve of the belly. That's what she left with.
Yeah. Wow.
So she's got the Twitter logo now.
She's got a teacup. Like, I mean, she's got a teacup, you know, but I mean, that's the only person in 24
I would
years.
guess that people would start off like in pain immediately, and then they just sort of get used to
Settle
like
in.
a certain
Yeah,
level.
settle in.
I don't feel like my stereotype would be that the more it's going on, are you like, now it's starting to hurt. I feel like
Yeah.
it would be like
There was only
initially.
like 2 times when I got mine, I expected it to be really bad. And there was only like 2 times where I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. And then it would go away.
Yeah.
And it only lasted like 2-3
Yeah,
seconds.
that
and I was like, okay, I'm
adrenaline
good.
is super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for some people, is it cut the conversation, get them on headphones, or do you ever are you better at tattooing for you? Like if you're listening to music you dig, or if you're talking to them, or it doesn't matter, or
Sometimes like if I like say doing sleeve work on somebody, I mean, there's some people, like I think I could talk to Eric for like 20 hours straight. But there's some people, man, after 2 hours, we done said everything we're going to say to each
Yeah.
other.
right?
You know, so yeah, I'll put music on, they can zone out, watch YouTube, whatever. And then I'll just get to work.
Let's get to work. This is going to be cool to watch, man. I'm excited
Yeah.
for this. Are you still want to hang out and watch it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, this is
Awesome.
great. Let's do this. You ready?
Yep.